Good morning. It's Matt from mattrandall.com, where time, money, and energy equals freedom. And it is not even sunrise yet. The sun is just barely starting to create an aura over the trees on the east. And people have asked me, what is my morning routine like? So I'm going to show you. I'm going to take you right through my morning routine today. And now I'm going to warn you ahead of time. I've worked on this morning routine for a few years. So don't think that you're going to jump right into it like I do every day, because it took me a long time to warm up to it. But are you ready? Here's how it works. Okay, first thing in the morning, before I get to the bathroom for my first morning elimination, there we go. We're going to heat up the water for the tea kettle for my first morning tea. Now, I'm using a tea kettle. I am not using the microwave. There's a good reason for that. There's a lot of evidence that shows microwaving water is not good for you. So starting that, and let's head to the bathroom. Okay, after my first morning elimination, it's time for the weigh-in. Let's see what we got. Woo, 172 on the dot today. Not bad. All right, while the tea kettle is still warming up, it's time for my first round of 60 push-ups. All right, I got my first round of 60 push-ups in. I'll do 120 over the course of the morning here. For my first morning tea, I'm going to have fresh squeezed lemon juice. It looks like this half is about ready to go in the trash. And a pinch of Baja Gold sea salt. So I love my bamboo container for that. And the tea is angry and ready. There we go. So warm water with lemon and sea salt. The lemon works as a detox, and the sea salt helps my body absorb the water better. There we go. Then once I have this, it's going to be the next round of 60 push-ups. Okay, it's time for my second round of 60 push-ups. I had my first morning tea, which was the lemon and salt. I told you why for that one. Now, why am I doing 2 rounds of 60 push-ups? Well, it didn't start that way. I started with 10 rounds of 10 push-ups, and then I got up to 20 push-ups, 30 push-ups. Right now, I'm up to 2 sets of 60. Why 2 sets of 60? Why 120? Because I'm on the 120 plan. I plan to live to 120 years old. Healthy, not in an oxygen tank in a bed until I'm 120. I want to be healthy and active when I'm 120. Push-ups are an easy way to start the day, get my heart rate pumping, get my muscles going. So I get 2 rounds of 60 right now. You can work up to that if that's not something you're capable of doing. But at 60 years old, I think 2 rounds of 60 is pretty decent. So good set of push-ups. So second round of 60 push-ups is done. I'm working on my second cup of tea. Now, what's in the second cup of tea, and what's the difference between them, and why do 2 different cups of tea? Well, because some of these ingredients like to be done separately, and some of the things that I take like to be taken on an empty stomach. So with my first cup of tea, I didn't mention I take my probiotics. So that likes to be taken on an empty stomach. Now, the lemon in the first cup of tea helps as a detox, helps get the bowels moving, and the warm water does too. And the salt helps me absorb the water better, which also helps keep the bowels moving. Second cup of tea is my Shilajit tea. I love this. It tastes fantastic. I'm going to take about a pea-sized drop of Shilajit resin. What is that? This is actually, the nickname for it is mountain sweat. It's mined in the Himalayas. It's ancient resin that contains actually prehistoric minerals and trace elements. We just all right. Let me show you what that looks like. So it's a jar of resin. This tiny jar lasts about 75 days. And I take this spoon, place it in the tea. To that, I'm going to add MCT oil, medium chain triglycerides. These are a fat. I'm going to do a tablespoon. You start with a teaspoon and work it up over a few days till your body gets used to it. Now, it's a fat, so why would I be taking a fat, right? 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon, folks, just in case you didn't know. So it helps with energizing the metabolism. You need fats, you need healthy fats for your brain cells, for your brain function. It helps with maintaining metabolism or starting my metabolism, and it also helps keeping things full. So the MCT oil is one of my favorite things. I love that. I'm going to put in raw, unfiltered honey, preferably local, just a teaspoon of that. And then another pinch of Baja Gold sea salt. And I'll provide links to all these things on the website. Here we go. We are still steaming over here for my second cup of tea, which I love. I'm going to relax with this a little bit, do some prayer, meditation, and then after that, we head to the red light therapy chair and do some Spanish lessons. While I'm waiting for the tea to cool down just a little bit so I can drink it, let's talk about some of the ingredients in here a little bit more. What's with the Himalayan Shilajit? The trace elements in this are good for brain health. So I consider this my brain health tea. The first tea I have is digestion, but the brain health one is very important. Now, the medium chain triglycerides, the MCT oil, is something I take also for brain health because your brain actually can't live without fat in your body. So if you're on an extremely low fat diet, you're probably with brain fog and low energy at the same time. So the trace elements in here feed the brain some of the like I said, is trace the minerals that are lacking in our diet normally because we're not eating whole fresh foods as often as we should. So selenium, copper, there's like 91 of them in here, right? No, 85 plus trace minerals in here. Now add to that the Baja Gold sea salt, which has other trace minerals in it, and finally getting the whole complement of 91 minerals that your body actually requires to have proper health. Now, where can you find medium chain triglycerides? These are naturally occurring in the coconut. This one comes from coconut. It's also in palm oils. It's also in raw whole milk. So you have to wonder, why does the medical community say go low fat, avoid palm oils, use low fat, processed, homogenized, pasteurized milk, right? You have to wonder, when this is good for you, naturally occurring and healthy, why would anyone advise you to do that? It's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in. All right, going to get ready to relax with my tea, do some prayer and meditation. Yeah, not medication, never medication. Meditation. And then we're going to head up to the office for the red light therapy chair. All right, welcome to my home office. This is where I sit under a red light therapy lamp. It's very inexpensive. It is not a heat lamp. Most people think because of the red color it's a heat lamp. It is not. There we go. Got some red lights here. And this is really cool. So the red light therapy is great for stimulating the mitochondria. And if you're not too familiar, you don't remember your high school biology, mitochondria is the energy cells in the body. And there are trillions of these things. They need to be turned on by good food and light, which we don't often get enough of, especially if you're working in an office under ultraviolet light and so forth. I mean, not ultraviolet, but fluorescent lighting. Or LED lights now, or the compact fluorescence, right? All those are robbing your body of natural light and healthy red light that comes from the sun. So this is where I usually practice my Spanish lesson. What's that? El regalo.
El regalo.
Regalo. I got to get my pronunciation right. So.
Esta camisa es para él.
Esta camisa es para él. This shirt is for him. Bingo. Yeah. All right. So I spend half an hour doing my Spanish lesson in the morning, and this is a part of the way that I wind down my morning routine. I'm going to take a little break from my Spanish lesson this morning to talk about the golden hour and why it's so special to me. So you've been introduced to my typical golden hour. It has changed over time, so I don't want you to think this is carved in stone. This is what I currently use. And I'd love to hear about what you do for your golden hour of the day. So that golden hour is that first point of the day, and I love mine before sunrise. I get up at 5 a.m. I don't even need the alarm because I naturally get up at 5 a.m., motivated, ready to take on the day. without caffeine. And I'm not going to beat that to death again. So you've heard me talk about it. My routine has been crafted to my particular purposes. I like my first morning tea as a detox with the lemon and the salt, so that gets my my bowels moving. All right, let's just put it out there. It gets my bowels moving for the morning real fast. The other thing, I like my push-up routine. It started off slow. I'm now up to 2 sets of 60 push-ups. Who knows, maybe I'll get up to one set of 120 at some point. And that's a reminder, the 120 number is important to me to remind me that I'm on a 120 plan to live to 120, healthy at 120, right? So, how would you die at 120 if you were healthy? Well, there, we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll make it more. Uh, with today's technology and advances in the medical field, it is entirely possible with what we're learning today about nutrition and exercise. So the second T, my mental health T, which is absolutely fantastic for feeding my brain, keeps me clear, keeps me energized, keeps my brain functioning well. Um, and then the Spanish lesson again also reinforces that mental exercise. So all of that is really important to me. The prayer and meditation in between, of course, too. There are other elements that I will add to it from time to time. I'll do some deep squats to release lower back and open up the hips. So those are things that I'll add in there. But what I'd really like to know is, what is your golden hour like? What do you do to get yourself up, motivated, ready to be successful for the day? Right? How are you your most productive in the morning? Or, you might be one of those people who's, I need my coffee. Don't talk to me until I've had my morning coffee. Right? If that's your golden hour, great, more power to you. I don't choose to live that way. That's all. So please share with me what your golden hour is. You might have things that you do that I would like to steal from, and you can steal from mine all you want. That's why I put it out here. It's not proprietary knowledge. Now, if you want to, I would recommend some books on the golden hour. I think there's one that's actually called The Golden Hour. And I've read many of those, so I can't remember all the titles, but each successful person has a morning routine that sets them up for the day. They also have an evening routine, and I have one as well that I'll share with you at another time. I would highly recommend you read one of the books on successful people's morning routines. So there you have it, folks. I'll try to put links to some of the ones that I read. I'll have to look them up again. They're down in the library and I'll find the titles. All right. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have going on.